So I went ahead and I took a look at Joe Lunardi's Bracketology Bracket as it stands today on February 19th. And I went ahead and filled out the rest of these cells from a bracket last year to make this bracket. You've got your 1 seeds, UConn, Purdue, Arizona, Houston. 2 seeds, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kansas, Marquette. And then 3 seeds, Auburn, Alabama, Iowa State, Baylor. And it goes so on and so forth. So, and we'll do it. We're starting with the play-in games. Start with the 16 seeds. Merrimack, North Carolina Central. I'll take the team from North Carolina. You know, North Carolina's a basketball state. Eastern Kentucky, North Dakota. The Dakotas are always kind of underrated, I think, in terms of their sports. You know, South Dakota State, North Dakota State. Pretty good. So probably some good competition. So I'll go North Dakota. And then we get into the 11 seed playing games that are obviously a lot more interesting. Nevada versus Utah. Just watched Utah yesterday. Brendan Carlson, leading big man center, is really good. Can shoot the 3. They're not a really good free throw shooting team. I like Nevada a lot more. I think they have a lot better star power. Jared Lucas, Oregon State Ledge, Blackshear would be 2 guards who could lead them through to Utah. So I'm going to take Nevada over Utah in this one. And then Ole Miss Gonzaga. This one's pretty easy. I mean, Gonzaga's had a rough season. They're not the Gonzaga that most everyone knows. But Ole Miss is kind of riding a great beginning of the season and having a really tough SEC stretch. I don't even think they'll really be in the tournament once it's all said and done. So I'm going to take Gonzaga. And so those are your first 4s. We'll start our bracket in the South. We got Purdue, NC Central. Now, Purdue did lose to a 16 seed last year, right? And they were a 1 seed last year. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are going to pick this for fun and say they'll do it again. The thing is, the last time a 16 seed beat a 1 seed before that's against when UMBC beat Virginia, Virginia went on to win the whole thing the next year. So has Purdue stocked up enough massively bad losses to kind of have the karma to go for a deep run when they're the best version that they've been of themselves that they've been in 4 years? Maybe. We'll see. I'm going to go Purdue here, though. Texas A&M, Big 12, SEC, probably the 2 strongest conferences, if you would ask a lot of people. 2, like, mid teams within those. With Wade Taylor and Terrence Radford, I think Texas A&M has star power to get them through. But I think Texas is a more well-rounded team, and they've been playing stiffer competition. So I would go Texas here. It's a soft lean. Could see that one going either way. I don't think either of these teams are that good. San Diego State, App State. App State beat S&P. It was Auburn. That's right. They beat Auburn in App State at home. This was their biggest win of the year. So they've got a really good one on their resume. I still think San Diego State has enough experience on this team, and Jaden Ledee is just such a monster that they'll get it done. But App State, if they get matched up maybe against a little bit worse 5 seed, I think I could see it being done. Creighton, UNC Wilmington. Now, UNC Wilmington beat Kentucky on the road this year, and Creighton is a good team that people have a really high ceiling, if you ask a lot of people, because they shoot the 3s well. They're experienced. They added more experience with Stephen Ashworth this year, so people think really highly of them. You could see some people putting them like Final 4 level. I think Wilmington could do it. I'm gonna go Creighton, but this sets up a Creighton-San Diego State rematch of the Elite 8 last year, where San Diego State made it off the last second free throws from Darion Trammell. Kentucky versus Nevada. Kentucky just had a really big win on the road against Auburn. Auburn's first home loss this season. And their ceiling's really high. They can score with the best of them. They have a ton of freshmen who just like don't really know any better, but to just go out and ball. But their defense is really bad, and they're very, very susceptible to an early loss. I think against this Nevada team that is very experienced, been playing in a really tough Mountain West Conference, I think they can take down Kentucky in the first round. Iowa State, Vermont. Vermont is a perennial automatic qualifier from the American East. So they're always in it. So they like have some experience here. I like Iowa State a lot. Their defense is insane. I think they have, good enough star power, good enough offense, good enough shooting. And they're well coached by Altenberger to get it done. So I'm going to take Iowa State here. Colorado State, TCU, 7-10 matchup. TCU Kind of that middle of the pack Big 12 team, but they can kind of, they've beaten Houston this year. They can take down some big dogs. I'll probably take Colorado State here. I don't know. This one's a pretty big toss-up because TCU can be really good on any given night and kind of pretty bad on every given night. And Colorado State's a pretty steady team, but I think Colorado State feels like this is a good year for them. To the 2 seed in this region, in the South region, you got Tennessee taking on Colgate. Colgate, pretty good team that was in it last year. I think Tennessee is really looking for a deep run. They got a really talented team, good defense. Dalton Connect provides a lot of good offense. I don't think they'll get upset early. Rick Barnes has a lot of questions to him, but I like them to take down Colgate in that round. Moving on to the East, Arizona, North Dakota. I'm going to take the Wildcats here. Arizona, always question marks in the tourney. Talk about them more in the next round. As I talk about St. Mary's, Mississippi State. St. Mary's on absolute heater right now. They've won like 14 in a row. They had a really bad November. And since the basically first weeks of December, they have climbed from like 150th to 15th in the net. They're just locking teams down. Aiden Mahaney is a beast. They're going against a Mississippi State team who has like a couple good wins, I think, propping them up. But they also, both these teams, Mississippi State and St. Mary's, play slow, aggressive defense, good defense. But I think when you're playing that battle, St. Mary's is going to win that. So I'm going to go St. Mary's here, and we'll talk more about it when I talk about this Arizona matchup. Dayton-Samford. So Dayton's got a good team. They're going to get Samford, who's been a fun mid-major team kind of moving its way up the ranks. Samford ranks 71st in KenPom, which isn't anything crazy. I mean, it's not bad by any means. You're around some good teams like Big 12, SEC teams, right? They shoot the 3 really well. I think they play really fast. Yeah, they play like some of the fastest in the country, and it would be an interesting matchup against Dayton because Dayton plays some of the slowest in the country. And I think because Dayton plays so slow and Samford could make them really comfortable for that sense, Dayton's susceptible to upsets for that sort of tempo, and Samford, I think could just get hot from the 3 and really shock anyone. So I'm going to go Samford over Dayton here. Duke and Yale. The Ivy League's actually kind of strong. Whoever comes out of it, Princeton, Yale, and I think Cornell. So while they are a good team, and Duke, could definitely be susceptible for losses. There's no reason why they maybe wouldn't be. Duke's got good stars. Jared McCain, TikTok boy. I'm 2 days into college. Jared McCain. He's been playing really well. He just tied a Duke freshman record for points this weekend. Kyle Filipowski, Jeremy Roach obviously won a strike back, so I think they'll be ready. I think they can survive an upset against Yale. FAU Gonzaga. FAU is a 6 seed. They have some really strong wins. They have a neutral court win against Arizona. I was at that game. But they have some really ugly losses. They are in tight games with a lot of teams in the American. The American has not been that good this year. They just lost to USF. So FAU has just been stinky. I think a lot of people are going to see them in the bracket and think of what they did last year and just assume that they can go far. I think Gonzaga probably so well coached plays them into a good spot. I like Gonzaga to take down FAU here. You're probably going to see me pick against FAU pretty early on in whatever scenario they're in. But I think this is a really good spot with Gonzaga. Both these teams don't really play good defense at all. And there's probably a battle FAU likes to take, but it's also definitely one that Gonzaga likes. Alabama, Morehead State. Alabama, with the way they play, is susceptible to an upset. They're like the NBA All-Star game of the college basketball world. They're like the Indiana Pacers of the college basketball world. They don't shoot mid-ranges. They just shoot threes, take layups, play really fast. It's like if the shot clock gets to 22 seconds, that's a failed possession, I think is what they say. I don't really know anything about Morehead State. I'm not going to choose Alabama to lose this early, at least in this mock. But if it's the right matchup, I could be picking against Alabama and to lose the first round game. Utah State, Butler. Utah State, one of those Mountain West teams, top. I think they're number 1 in the standings. They have a really great player, and his name is Great Osabor. I think he would kind of dominate this Butler front court. And the Butler backcourt is just, like, I like DJ Davis a lot. He came over from UC Irvine, shoots the three ball really well, leading free throw shooter in the country. But Butler has just, like, had a couple games recently that I've bet on them, and they just have kind of fallen apart at the end, or just not had the final kick, the final drive to really impress me. So I'm gonna go Utah State here. And I'm leaning into the Mountain West success. I think I have not picked against them, picked them to lose so far. I got 3 of them in the 32, 4 of them in the 32 already. Might be some biases because I've watched a lot of Mountain West basketball living on the West Coast. Kansas Quinnipiac. I think Kansas is good enough to get this one done. I don't know much about Quinnipiac. I think they're really good at hockey. But I'm gonna say Kansas gets that one done and move on.